Hey guys, hope you guys are enjoying your month. And where did the time go? I have no idea. How we already at the end of September is amazes me. Anywho's, welcome to part three, which is our last one in our Mediterranean edition for cruises. And we'll be covering celebrity for people who have been on celebrity or may want to know a little bit more about it. You're in the right spots. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Taishita. I'm the founder and CEO of Luxury Travels by Dreamy Designer events where we curate elevated experiences worldwide and also design retreats and conferences for founders and CEOs so they can connect with their team and their audience to get outside of the technology world and kind of connect more on that person to person level. So come with me and dive right on in. We are in our third part and the last one for this month for Celebrity Mediterranean Edition. And we're going to cover a little bit about the cruise line as well as the Celebrity Beyond, and some of the information in terms of traveling for the Mediterranean if you happen to miss our last couple of videos. So let's come on in. So first things first, I definitely in my very first video that I did this month that also covered Virgin Voyages. I went into detail for these. These are just some things to go on. If you're traveling to the Mediterranean via cruise, definitely go in early. Make sure you pack light. Make sure you know what the currency is ahead of time because sometimes the ports could vary. As well as make sure you know that sometimes the weather and the destination, as well as the temperature on the cruise, could differ. So just make sure you have clothes that are either interchangeable or something that could be like multi-purpose, so you don't get stuck in only having one type of clothing, and then you're either cold on the cruise ship or you're too hot, one or the other. Also, make sure because of a lot of the updates within this past year, check to make sure the place you are going into, if there are any visas that are required. Any of our clients, you don't throw about any of this. We give you all of your need to know, as well as go over this ahead of time. Just for anyone else, make sure you definitely stay tuned. And if you miss it, check our first one because we do go into detail about some other things that you may want to make sure you bring or know prior to cruising in the Mediterranean. And in case you missed it, our first two videos, definitely check them out. We have Virgin Voyages as well as the Norwegian Viva in the Prima class. We go into a little bit more detail about them. Today, we are going to be covering the Celebrity Beyond as well as Celebrity itself. For anyone who hasn't been on Celebrity, Celebrity is definitely a little bit more of a sophisticated, a more premium, modern luxury, which really pretty much means that you're going to get that little bit more elevated experience. It is not strictly adults only. However, they don't have a ton. They're not like family friendly geared, but they do have some stuff in case you do have kids or things that they can do as well. But it's definitely where you want to kind of go away. You want to kind of be laid back. You do want to have like different things to do. So like couples, families, solo travelers. It has a lot to do, but the nice part about it is because some of their cruise lines are very intimate in a sense in terms of what you're doing on the ship. They're really nice for some of those Mediterranean destinations that you can also go to. Celebrity does hit a good amount of the Mediterranean, like Barcelona, Rome, Athens, and quite a few other places. However, it's similar to the other ships that we talked about, where a lot of the cruise lines and their ships, they rotate. So I have clients who are strictly like celebrity clients. So if they want to do celebrity, we gear celebrity along with the dates they're traveling and we see what itineraries that they have. Or if you're like, hey, I want to do celebrity and you want this itinerary, but you don't care when, then we can do that because a lot of their shifts change gears. So if they, whether they do more for like 6 months to a year, sometimes they'll do a year or two, and then they switch it because sometimes clients like same itinerary, but they do want to try a different ship. And that's where the change comes in. So for the celebrity, we do have different classes. So and this is more not so much for most of our clients because we provide them all this ahead of time so you can make sure you're in the right one. They have their retreat class, they also have their aqua class. Each class has different added amenities and different benefits behind it. So that's why they do have the regular interior ocean view and balcony. Then when they go up to the concierge and aqua class, they have different things that are included with them. Plus, there are different extra perks while you're on the ship as well. So some of them may have different dining areas. Some may have like an extra area just for that particular class of service. And some of them just may have like completely VIP butler experience. So it just depends on the class. So I always tell people we go over ahead of time to make sure that you don't have any surprises, or you may think you're in one particular class and you find out when you're there. These are a lot of their perks, which is really nice. You get that nice upscale, sophisticated experience, but you do have the option to have drinks, Wi-Fi, and tips also included. That is one thing I did not mention before. With cruising, gratuity is always included. So when I say that, you can either prepay for it ahead of time, or they will just charge you automatically per day per room, per day per person per room while you're on the ship. However, you're going to pay it regardless. I typically recommend, and I tell all my clients, I recommend that you prepay for them ahead of time, meaning that, say, for example, if they're $15 per person per day, do it when you book your cruise. I say this for two reasons. For one, it helps alleviate. So when you're actually in destination, when you're on the ship, you don't have this bill at the end of it that may be for a couple of $100s, depending on how long your cruise is, that you have to pay for gratuities and you're already prepaid and you're done with it. And the second reason I say this too is because, say, for example, if you booked your cruise June of, well, say for example, you booked your cruise June of 2025, but your cruise doesn't actually take place until January of 2027. You're locked in for the price that you pay for your gratuities at the time when you add them onto your reservation. So say, for example, which it does happen, the gratuities go up, or say for they increase them, you're locked in because you already added them to your reservation, versus if they go up and you already don't have them, or you wait until you're on the ship, you're paying whatever the higher cost would be. So I always tell people you got to pay for it anyway, so you might as well just add them on ahead of time. So there's one less thing you have to worry about doing it. However, with like Celebrity, and a couple of the other ones, if they have promotions and the tips are included or gratuities, you don't have to worry about them anyway because they're already taken care of for you. So it makes it kind of like a win-win situation. Celebrity Beyond, this is one of theirs that is currently doing Mediterranean itinerary. Like I said, they switch up quite often. It's really nice. They do have the dining, they have the rooftop garden, they have the fitness that actually kind of like almost like overlooks where the water is as well. And they have so many different other elevated experiences, but I always kind of put them in the like sophisticated luxury space because it's really nice, clean cut. You get that experience of having like a nice luxury experience without it feeling too ritzy, or also where you're feeling like, kids are everywhere, because you can bring kids on there, but they're just not labeled as like, we're like Royal Caribbean or even Norwegian, things of that manner. But the nice part about it is they're definitely sophisticated luxury and you can't go wrong. Nice thing about Celebrity is their brand is pretty similar throughout. The design of the ships will be looking different in the themes, but in terms of the service and the experience, whether you're in interior ocean view balcony, or even if you're in the aqua or the retreat class, you know what you're getting and there is no surprises. So definitely one that I definitely highly recommend checking out. Well, with that being said, if you traveled to Europe before via cruise or even just on your own, definitely make sure you comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video so that you can get all our upcoming things that we have coming up for you guys. And definitely because we have some really fun things and people that we are going to be interviewing soon. So also don't forget to join our newsletter emails, because that's where we'll have all of our updates that come out as they hit each month. Plus you'll get them before you'll see it on here or even through our social media channels. Okay, until next time, be well and we'll talk soon. Bye.